I think what we're all saying is we're going to sit and watch. We're going to wait and see because we can't do anything else except.
I'm not going to wait and see. I mean, this guy's told us he's a retribution. He's going to be a dictator.
What are you doing? Like,
there's nothing to be done until you know what you're fighting. It's pissing in the wind doesn't help. You just get a wet face.
But I mean, what I'm saying is I have no false expectations that at 78 he's going to all of a sudden turn into a benevolent human being.
And I'm not going to spend.
I spent weeks telling people that he was apocalyptic. I'm not going to change now because it's still the same man.
You're not treating every single thing like a fire alarm.
I think that's when we lose credibility.
Well, here's the thing.
Odds on is true. I kind of always thought Trump would win until maybe the final days just because it felt like Kamala Harris had this real momentum. But the signs were there. And I have a very diverse friend group, family, like people who vote different ways. And I have felt like there was a yearning in this country that people wanted Donald Trump back. And the most common thing I heard this entire election cycle was, I don't like his personality. I don't like the way he talks, but my life was better when he was in office. And I'm in this position where I feel a bit unburdened by what has been. I'm going to wait and see. He's not been sworn in yet. I'm somebody who probably agrees with 75% of his policies. If he focuses on creating jobs, on bringing down the cost of living, securing the border in a responsible way, and being tough on America's adversaries, I'm all for it. What doesn't mean we're not going to call balls and strikes when he does things that are beyond the pale or he uses words that are offensive to people, then be ready to call that out. But I just think I'm kind of shying away from this sort of apocalyptic, it's all, we need to be like losing sleep over it. The American system of government is strong. It's held. There are checks and balances, even if my party's in control of the House, the Senate, and the presidency. And I think we should I root for America, so I root for a smart, serious Donald Trump presidency.
So I think what we're all saying is we're going to sit and watch. We're going to wait and see because we can't do anything else except.
I'm not going to wait and see. I mean, this guy's told us he's a retribution. He's going to be a dictator.
What are you doing? Like,
there's nothing to be done until you know what you're fighting. It's pissing in the wind doesn't help. You just get a wet face.
But I mean, what I'm saying is I have no false expectations that at 78 he's going to all of a sudden turn into a benevolent human being.
And I'm not going to
I spent weeks telling people that he was apocalyptic. I'm not going to change now because it's still the same man.
You're not treating every single thing like a fire alarm.
I think that's when we lose credibility.
Well, here's the thing. You lose credibility in many different ways. If you don't know what you're talking about and you accuse him of something, then they're going to blow it back. That's why I say we need to wait and see.
Wow, wow, wow. That might have been probably the most astute thing that Whoopi Goldberg has ever uttered. Pissing in the wind. I love it. I absolutely love it. That's so true. The Democrats were politically pissing in the wind. And what happened? Trump's tsunami, Trump's wind just blew that piss right back in their faces. I mean, that is such an apropos metaphor. What an adjective, what a modifier. Oh, unbelievable. Way to go, Whoopi. Way to go. That's how you explain everything. And did you see the sort of backhanded SLAP that she gave to Ana Gucci Navarro when Ana said, "I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to step back and wait or whatever." So obviously Whoopi, told her, "Well, what you going to do?" And she goes, "I'm not going to lose my credibility." Ana, honey, let me mansplain something to you, darling. You mind me mansplaining? It's like Ricky Ricardo. Lucy, you got some splaining do. So I'm going to say, Ana, you got some splaining do. You lost so much credibility already. And Whoopi basically did the velvet glove. Because she said, if you already started talking about something that you don't know anything about, or you said things about people or whatever, and you overblew it and you were hyperbolic, of course I'm paraphrasing, well then you're going to lose a lot of credibility as well. And she was referring to the fact that Ana Gucci Navarro was saying that what? Donald Trump's presidency is going to be apocalyptic? I mean, it's going to be absolutely, destroying the world. So when you go like that, you've already lost credibility. So I think, at least in this episode, Whoopi was basically trying to, I think she was trying to simmer down even on her own rhetoric by basically what? Going after somebody else on the panel to take the, I guess, what? The emphasis off of Whoopi's emphasis. Whoopi is just, she's just going to be so cooperative and she's just going to lay back and wait and give everything a chance until something happens. And then she's going to explode. Not like the rest of the panel or whatever in terms of that. Now, just to segue into something else, we've all seen on all these shows, even The View, remember they had to read like 4 memos from lawyers because of the things that they said so that ABC won't get sued, and they had to read them on air 4 in one day? I mean, these guys are, how much are the lawyers making here at ABC? They got to be there every single day for the entire show to make sure that these, 5 ladies don't say even stupider things that are even stupider than what they've said in the past. But this whole thing about the transition and, just getting upset every time Donald Trump picks somebody, everybody basically just goes ape crap and starts dumping on it. But let's see what CNN and Harry Enton, remember Harry Enton, the guy that said everything is so close, but it could go either way? That was such great punditry that we were hearing from Harry Enton because he wanted to what? Keep his own ass safe when he was predicting. Because that way you can say, yeah, we called it. It was, even. It was 49, 48, 50, 49. We were right there in the ballpark and it broke one way. And when we saw the signs, right? Well, Harry Enton is going to talk about how the public is absolutely on Trump's side as to him being able to pick his team. So, folks, check this out. So, folks, here you can see right away in 2016, when people were some people were afraid, didn't know what, was going to happen. First time they had a president that was elected that wasn't part of the establishment. His approval in terms of his transition team was +1. Now, look at it, folks. 17 points up, 18. But what happens? All the liberal establishment, the Democratic establishment, the punditry class, everybody out there is basically saying he doesn't have a mandate. That's what they're trying to push. Everybody knows that he has an unbelievable mandate. Anyways, let's continue and see what Harry Enton has to say.
Take a look here. President Trump's transition net approval. You go back to November of 2016. Look at this. It was just at +1 point. Just at +1 point. That is well below the historical norm. Look at where we are today. Significantly higher. +18 points. That's 17 points higher on the presidential transition net approval rating. The bottom line is this. If 8 years ago Americans were lukewarm on Donald Trump, at this particular point, they're giving him much more the benefit of the doubt. A lot more Americans are in love with this transition.
Yes.
This much more meets the historical norms where normally presidents get that
told
boost coming
you
out of
so.
their victory. And what we're seeing here is Donald Trump's presidential transition is getting a thumbs up, and dare I say, 2 thumbs up from the American people.
And we're still in the appointment phase at this point, but it does give insight to sort of where this team is thinking to lead some of these key departments, of course. I mean, but how do people feel about the prospects of his presidency, given the context of some of these picks?
Yeah, it's not just that they like what Donald Trump is doing right now. They're optimistic for the future. So,
yes,
again, let's compare ourselves now versus where we were 8 years ago. And what you see 8 years ago, 53% of Americans were scared or concerned, the majority towards the upcoming Trump term. Look at where we are now. The shoe is on the other foot.
Folks, take a look at this here. Just wanted to stop the tape so you could see for yourself. Feelings towards Trump's upcoming term. Look at what is happening, folks. An absolute, complete turnaround, folks. Turnaround. I mean, this speaks volumes. But if you were to listen, and we've got some other clips coming up after this, again, the scare tactics, Project 2025 is, wait till you see some of the stuff, the hysteria that's surrounding it. You know, the CNN people still, MSNBC and all of them. Anyways, let's continue with Harry.
What? 53% of Americans are excited or optimistic. It's flip-flop, where a narrow majority 8 years ago were scared or concerned about the upcoming Trump term. Now what we see is that the majority is excited or optimistic about the Trump term. So what we're just seeing is very different numbers from where we were 8 years ago. 8 years ago, folks really were not that in love with the Trump transition. Now they are, and more than that, looking forward to the upcoming Trump term. 8 years ago, the majority were scared or concerned.
So I wanted to bring this clip up because it sort of, you know, segues into this next position that I want to talk about. And here we see Jim, I'm not a gentleman, Acosta, speaking with a woman who happens to be a never-Trumper, has tremendous TDS, Trump derangement syndrome, trying to scare everybody that Trump's transition picks are going to lead basically to Armageddon because of Project 2025. And Trump is going to be defended by the gentleman on the right because this lady is just absolutely going completely batshit crazy. So folks, take a listen to this.
Let me be very clear here. You have Project 2025.
Oh boy.
Which is a piece of paper.
Oh,
But wait, David, come on. I'll give you an example of what they want to cut. They want to put lifetime benefits on Medicaid, which effectively means that if you have cancer or you're on dialysis and you hit your limit, you're out. They want to put lifetime benefits on housing, which means that if you hit them, you're homeless. So there are things in this budget that are non-discretionary, David, that you talked about, that this administration has embraced, which is why they put Russ Vought in charge of this whole enterprise, to effectively eradicate things that you think are inviolable, but in fact are very much in the scope of what Donald Trump ran on and something that the people around him want to do. So it's not just a question of DOGE, it's a question of holistically what they're targeting. And they're not just targeting that rat mole museum, which God bless if that's all they want to do. But if you look at what they've talked about targeting, it is much broader than that. It actually affects people's health care. It actually affects where people live. And that's a problem. That's actually a seriously huge problem, not just for Democrats, but for some Republicans who I assume don't want to throw grandma off of dialysis because she hit her lifetime limit on her health care benefits.
Yeah, Jim, where's Daniel Dale when we need him, buddy? This is a Snopes moment. Donald Trump has disavowed Project 2025.
He put Russ Vought in charge.
David, I appreciate you bringing up. I appreciate you bringing up Daniel Dale. We'll have him on sometime soon. I hope. I don't know. He might be off having turkey somewhere.
Listen,
which probably would be.
Stop, Jim. You need to say that Project 2025, the Trump administration. You need to acknowledge. Jim, you need to acknowledge that Donald Trump has disavowed Project 2025.
He put the architect of Project 25
I was just about to say,
of OMB.
Right, David, I was just about to say, Donald Trump out on the campaign trail time and again disavowed Project 2025, and yet he put one of the architects. But I will say he put one of the architects of Project 2025 in charge of the Office of Management and Budget. David.
That's two different things.
You and I have talked about this before. Why not just admit that the president-elect was not telling the truth out on the campaign trail when he said he had nothing to do with Project 2025. He had no knowledge.
Because he didn't.
All of that was just a snow job, right? That was just
Jim. Why don't you just admit? Why don't you just admit that he has said that it doesn't? It's not a blueprint.
David,
for the
that was a bigger turkey than what I'm going to have on the Thanksgiving table later this week. I'm sorry, but
come on, come on. Look, you guys are going to get 4 Pinocchios, both you and Julie, both. Come on, Washington Post, Daniel Dale.
For what?
For spreading
what?
lies. Man, oh man, they tried doing this during the campaign for a whole freaking year, trying to basically shove this Project 2025 down every voter's throat, trying to scaremonger, gaslight, do everything that they could, light that piece of paper on fire, and tell everybody that this was just a fascist dream. Look, if there's things in Project 2025, to give you God's honest truth, I haven't even freaking looked at Project 2025. Because to me, it didn't mean a GD thing. It didn't mean a damn thing to me. If there's something that is going to be good for America, American workers, the American citizens, and it's going to help the United States of America, hey, I am all for it. And if there's something that's going to be bad for America, its citizens, and for the country, I'm against it. So basically, that's where I stand. And if Donald Trump wants to appoint somebody who they're saying is the complete architect, and I, like I said, is I don't know, I didn't really give a damn. I really didn't give a damn. Because how many things were the Democrats going to throw on my political wall to try to see if it stuck? I mean, you start throwing everything at it. That's bad. That's terrible. That's fascist. That's Stalinist. That's Nazism. That's Hitler. That's this. That's gonna, destroy the world. That's gonna destroy America. That's gonna cause World War III and World War IV to come together. After a while, you're just going, oh, what are you guys doing? How many times are you gonna cry wolf? And you've cried wolf so many times that guess what? Nobody's checking the hen house anymore. Nobody. And what I want to now lead you into is CNN. CNN going over every single appointment pick as if it's, the devil is bringing his minions out of hellscape to run the United States of America. If you don't believe me, folks, check this out.
Donald Trump's vision for his second-term cabinet, we now understand it in full. The once and future president's personnel choices revealing a stark contrast with his first administration. So among Trump's picks this time, an independent with the last name Kennedy who supports abortion rights, more than one former Democratic presidential contender, a centrist Republican who is favored by the Teamsters Union, a man who fundraised for Al Gore and advised George Soros. And then, of course, there are quite a few MAGA loyalists and Fox News favorites. It all adds up to a cabinet that...
All I have to ask is, what in the hell is wrong with being allowed to pick your people? They have to go through the confirmation process. And then there are ways around that as well, as we know with recess appointments. But you know what? I really, really do hope that the Democrats and their acolytes in the media and the press, CNN, MSNS, MSDNC, MSLSD, Delusional Network, ABC, NBC, they, all of them, academia, Hollywood, I'm hoping to view all these shows continue to literally go down this lane and jump on every single name that's named by President Trump. Because all it's going to do is strengthen the resolve. You saw the poll previously, plus 17 points from 8 years ago, that the American people now have said, look, we want to he's got our mandate. We voted for him to take care of it. Let him do his job. Let him pick the people that he wants.
That is united not by dogma, but by loyalty to Trump and his
Yes!
vision. Over the weekend, Mike Allen and Jim Vandehei writing this in Axios, quote, lost in the noise of Trump's most controversial picks is the simple, undebatable fact that this might be the most ideologically diverse cabinet of modern times.
Wow.
The team represents the Trump worldview. Traditional conservatism is dead, and its biggest lifelong advocates neutered to the point of irrelevance.
Yes.
A Trump transition source told us that most of the picks are a version of Trump in their thinking and approach.
I don't know why. I really don't understand why they call behind the curtain as if it's hidden. and they call it Trump's liberal cabinet. A Trump transition source told us most of the picks are a version of Trump in their thinking and approach. Wow. I would think that you probably were thinking that his picks would have been a version of Biden and Kamala Harris, or maybe Obama, or maybe neocons from the establishment, or maybe they were versions of what Nikki Haley would have wanted, or what Clinton would have wanted, or what the Democratic Party or Hollywood or the acolytes or people at MSDNC would have wanted, or the legacy media. Is that what you basically are trying to tell me? We want fearless disruptors. We want people that can go into these buildings and know they've got a freaking mandate. That guess what? Somebody walks in the room, somebody else doesn't look at them right. Guess what, guy? Are you on the team? Are you with us? If not, get your papers and get the hell out of the room, and don't let the door hit you on the ass as you're leaving. That's who we effing want. We want those guys. We want people like Elon Musk. We want people like RFK, Tulsi Gabbard, Kristi Noem. We want those kind of people that are going to go there and shake things up in the deep state, in Washington, D.C. Shake this cesspool, this toilet bowl. Because no matter how many times we keep flushing that toilet bowl of Washington, D.C., these people are not going away. Oh, they disappear in the toilet bowl and in the fecal material, but somehow they come out, still smelling like crap, but they're still there. The cancerous tentacles are still, surrounding DNC. It's going to take a tremendous amount of surgical cutting to get to the center of the cancerous core and yank that SOB out and throw it away so it never comes back. Anyways, folks, we appreciate you taking the time to watch. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Shake Show. I'm your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow. You all know what to do. Take a look at the 4 links you see above in front of you. Share your comments. My final thought is always, when you're right, you're right. And when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, y'all take care and stay safe.